Whatever time it is, allow it to be now in your person. Turn your palms up on your lap and allow your eyes to close. When you close your eyes, if you ever notice that you feel unsettled, just let your eyes open and make your gaze soft. We let the human construct of calendars and clocks kind of fade off into the background. We become more attuned with the nature that is within us and around us. We may recognize where we are in the cycle of a day by the amount of light. Where we are in the year by the temperature or humidity. So through the palms of your hands and your skin, and your nose and your mouth, understand where you are in time. With each inhale, refresh and energize. And with each exhale, maybe we can release some of those constructs that put tension on our minds. Breathe in a little more deeply, feeling the expansion of your body, your chest, your lungs. Breathe out a little more completely, feeling the tone in the abdominal wall remind you, right, of your material nature, your certainty. Breathe in to reinforce your senses, what you smell, what you feel, what you hear. And breathe out to release any of those mental constructs. Your next inhale, lift your arms up overhead, lift your chin, lift your eyes, stretch your eyes way up towards your eyebrows. On an exhale, float the arms down and back behind you. Draw your fingertips back, lifting the sternum to let your gaze up. Hug the shoulder blades towards the spine. And the next time you inhale, lift your arms back up overhead. On the exhale, arms drift forward at shoulder height. Then you cross the left arm under the right, eagle arms, and use your top arm to steer the bottom arm across the chest. And just hang out here, feeling the stretch across your left shoulder. You can explore it a little bit, maybe by starting to steer your fingertips over to the right. Just see where it goes. So all of it is an exploration of your boundaries, right? The boundaries of the body. And inhale, lift that back up, unravel your arms, take the arms back in cactus. So you breathe here on your exhales, try to bring the ribs in and down on the front body. Feel that a little bit more in the arms and the pecs. On an exhale, bring your right arm under your left, eagle arms. Use the top arm to steer the bottom arm across the chest. Start to steer the fingertips over to your left. Just, again, not forcing anything, not producing strain in the body. Just trying to get an understanding of where are the limits in the shoulders. On an inhale, come back center, unravel your arms back out to cactus. When you exhale, draw the ribs in and down. Unfold your elbows, plant the fingertips behind you as you rock back on your sit bones. Here we're going to come up to rest on the heels. Just press your fingertips down, lift the sternum. You can keep your hands here or put them back there anytime you want, or lift them out to T or even up overhead. Tilt the chin and the eyes up. At every degree that your head moves back, it's going to start to put some strain on the neck muscles. So draw your chin in. That's not to look down, just to bring the chin in. Take 3 rounds of breath here. And on your next exhale, lower the hands down, fingertips point towards your heels, flatten your feet, and then inhale, lift the hips. We have a reverse table pose or crab pose. Nice, lowering the hips down. Inhale, lift the arms back up, maybe lift the legs as well. On the exhale, hands and feet down, lift your hips. And we'll move like this for a few rounds. Inhale, Navasana, boat pose. Exhale, reverse table. Be challenged to let your breath guide the rhythm of your movement. So knowing we don't all have to move at the same pace. Choose the whole inhale to float the fingers and the toes upward, and the whole exhale to knit the ribs and tone the abdomen. If we stay really, really present, we'll start to notice that the rhythm of respiration changes. So we have to allow the rhythm of the body, the movement, to change as well. Well, now the next time that you arrive in that reverse table pose, let's hang out there. Notice how the form influences the movement of your breath. Form always influences formless. And try to walk this reverse table pose backwards on your mat, and then maybe forwards as well. It's a little way to reset the brain, where we're using all 4s to move, and we're not looking at it. Next time you think you're at the middle of your mat, lower your hips down. Inhale, Navasana. One more time. Cross your ankles, and then rock forward over your feet. You're going to step back, downward facing dog. Pedal your knees out. If you like to get a little gooier in the hips, bring your feet together and bend your knees deeply, letting the hips tilt to one side and then the other. Notice the weight, the mass of your head. And if you're holding it up, really like let your head down, let your face relax, let your mouth open a little bit. You could stretch out your face, but like pretend you're chewing on something really big. Scrunch up your nose, stretch your eyebrows towards your hairline. And take a breath in and then stick out your tongue, stretch it towards your chin. Take a breath in. On the exhale, shake out your face. Go. One more time, take a breath in. On the exhale, burn the breath out through your lips. Lift your gaze to your hands and walk your feet forward. Lifting up halfway, half Uttanasana. Roll the shoulders up, slide them back towards your hips, and then let the arms swing out like wings. Keep your knees a little soft if you feel the low back rounding or your tailbone tucking down. You can always bend your knees more as needed. And even with a bend in the knees, imagine your thigh bones pressing back a little bit. So it's a way of greeting the hamstrings. Lift your toes and spread them out. Feel the calves. Roll your palms forward and then inhale all the way up to stand. Hands touch overhead. Bend your elbows, fingers point down the spine. And give a hug of your hands towards each other. Lift your chin parallel to the floor. Inhale, raise the arms up, and on the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, and on the exhale, step back with your left foot. Rise up, high lunge. On your next exhale, let your back knee go slack. So you don't have to bend it a lot, just like let it unlock a little bit. And then see about tucking your tailbone under. The more your tailbone scoops under, the more you're going to stretch the hip flexor on the front of your left hip there. And then do the opposite. Arch your back, stick your tailbone out back, but not to strain the low back. Exhale, scoop the tailbone under. Inhale, tip the hips forward. Try that a few more times with your breath. Exhales are always going to be to take the tailbone down or under, zipping up from the pubic bone to the navel. Nice, one more time. And on your exhale, lower your hands down, two straight legs, Parsvottanasana. Coming up onto the heel of your right foot. So flexing the right ankle. If you have a block in hands reach, tucking that block underneath the ball joints of the right foot. Not to curl your toes over it, but just for the ball of the foot to meet the corner of the block. If you really want to start to feel into the whole back of your right leg, so hamstring, calf, to me, it's all connected. Start to lift your back heel off the mat and lean forward a little bit. You don't have to press into that block, just leaning the upper body weight towards it will put more tension on the back of your right leg. You guys feel that? Nice. If you have a block there, take that out, step the right foot back down and step back. Three-legged dog, right leg goes up and back. Bend your knee, turn your hip towards sky. Let's bring some more awareness into the back leg. So feel the ball joints of your back foot. So maybe we get caught up in the intention of pressing the heel downward, but you don't have to push through your heel. Just let your heel heavy towards the mat or into it. And then try lifting your left toes and spreading them out. So really what you're standing on is the balls of the foot. Ask your left thigh bone, your left femur to press back just a little bit. And then on an inhale, glide forward to plank. Wrapping your right first toes around the left Achilles tendon. So you have plank with the right foot stacked on the left. Now use your right foot to press back on the left heel a little bit. Cool. Walk your hands all the way back to the back of the mat. When you arrive there, really use your right toes to press down on the left heel. So we're folding over the legs. The feet are one in front of the other. And then on an inhale, lift your gaze forward, walk your hands to plank, lower your knees, bend your elbows halfway, and inhale, sweep the chest forward, upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. Feel your breath stretching your lungs, expanding the rib cage. Feel your breath encouraging that tone in the abdominal wall. Step the left foot to the hands. Inhale to rise, high lunge. Now on the first breath, we're sort of like organizing ourselves, like what are you looking at? Where are your feet on the mat? And then let your back knee go slack. So you're going to intentionally take some of the stability out of it. We're going to bring awareness into the low belly and the low back to find that stability there. On the exhale, move your tailbone down or even tuck it under a little bit. And then when you inhale, your pelvis, your hips are tilting forward. It's like the dog tilt. Exhale, tuck the tail, zip, pubic bone to navel. Inhale, so lumbars arching. Exhale, lumbars lengthening. Nice. And then exhale, the hands down, two straight legs, Parsvottanasana, maybe using a block under your left foot. If you put the block under your foot, resist having your toes grip onto the block. If anything, the toes are lifting and spreading. And you can apply a little pressure on the block, not by pushing into it, but instead like lift your back heel and just shift your mass forward. It's kind of like you're learning how to dive in a swimming pool, you know, and you start peeking over the edge a little bit. And breathe.
Pull back to the leg we're stretching.
Pull back, yeah, or it's probably stretching most where you have restriction. All right, let's take that block out, bend your knees, step back, three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, turn the hip towards sky. Let your head down. This is a common place that we start like thinking a lot. When we think a lot, we hold the head up. Let your head down. Yeah. And then drop more awareness into your right leg, right foot. So your right heel doesn't have to push down, and you just release it into gravity and lift your toes and spread them instead. So the ball joint of your foot is what's rooting. Now move your thigh bone back. That was good, Kath. Yeah. Right, on an inhale, let's glide forward. It's three-legged plank until your left toes rest onto the right heel. So you can wiggle your Achilles tendon or your toes around the Achilles tendon. And then with your left leg, press back to stretch the right leg. Start to walk your hands to the back of the mat. Go slow. Feel your mass shifting over the right foot. And when you get there, start to heavy the left heel down into the mat. Upper body drapes over your legs. So adding the mass of your head to traction your spine and draws on all that soft tissue, it really intensifies things without a lot of effort. But if this stretch in your legs is too much, you'll notice if you lift your head, you can de-intensify what's going on there. Inhale, look forward, walk your hands to plank. Lower your knees, bend your elbows halfway, and then inhale, upward facing dog, wrap your shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, let's pivot the toes out a little bit. Bring your heels towards each other. We're going to take a few deep knee bends. So lower your hips towards your heels, knees wide, and then lift up on your tippy toes. Inhale, lower the hips, look to your hands. Exhale, up on the tippy toes, look to your navel. We can use a vigorous breath like this to activate the bandhas. So when you inhale, you look forward, exhale through your mouth. Yeah, and each time that you lift up and you exhale like that, feel the pelvic floor engage all the way up to your diaphragm and then your throat as your chin curls toward your chest. One more time. Parallel your feet, hop or step to your hands, toes touch here. The inhale, chair pose. Exhale, stand up, circle the arms back and around. Inhale, chair. Exhale, arms forward at shoulder height. Roll your shoulders back. Hug your inner thighs towards each other, but press your heels outward. The glutes. All right, let's try to keep knees, hips forward, and inhale, left arm streams back, eyes follow. Exhale, arm forward. Inhale, right arm back. Exhale, forward. Do 2 more rounds. Eyes follow your fingertips, so feel the rotation even in the neck. Last time here, left arm back, exhale forward, right arm back, exhale forward. Sit a little deeper and inhale the arms up, Exhale, full forward fold. So just like when we use the block under the foot in Parsville, lift up your toes, spread them out, and try leaning forward just a little bit, like you're having your next lesson on diving in the pool and you're looking over the edge. Inhale, lift halfway. On the exhale, hop or step back. Low plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, rock your shoulders back. Exhale, downward dog. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, warrior two. The whole body's always going to try to follow the eyes, like wherever we're going. So in these lateral poses, if you turn your head to the long side of your mat or towards that side of the room, it's a little easier to bring your left shoulder back. So both shoulders, both collarbones face long side of the mat. Now turn only your head forward. Let's feel that little bit of difference in the neck. On an exhale, hinging out over the right leg, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. You want to use a block under your right hand or come up on your fingertips. Or like last week, we were playing a lot with no hands on the floor. So maybe you hover your right hand. Maybe you're someone who likes bringing both hands to heart. And if that's where you usually practice, try bringing both hands to touch behind you. And if today's the day where you're just taking like one finger off the floor, that's cool. So notice where you hold yourself from is that area, pubic bone to navel. Yeah, on an exhale, we're going to turn to warrior three. So rotate the upper body and then inhale, come up to stand, bring your left knee to hip height. To inhale, try to extend the leg. So I'll give you, you always have the option, right? You can do this with straight leg or bent knee. Let's try bent knee first. Arms out like wings. Take your left leg out to the left. And you're going to come back to warrior three. Got it? All right, come back up to stand. Now try straight leg. Left leg left, arms out like wings. And bring that back and around, warrior three. Right hand down, left arm up. There's your Ardha Chandrasana. And step back, warrior two. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, windmill the arms down. Step back, three-legged plank. You can stay here. You could go no thank you plank and lower everything down, or turn onto your left hand, left foot, side plank. If your right leg is lifting off of the bottom leg, try bend your knee and bring the right leg out to the long side of the mat. Yeah. Nice, Sandy. Keep the bottom hip lifting. Sweep that leg back. Exhale, turn toward the floor, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, raise your left leg, bend your knee, turn your hip towards sky. On the exhale, step forward, warrior two. So almost all of the parts of the body that move forward are facing the long side of your mat. Turn your gaze that way also. Neutralize your neck for a moment. And then draw your right shoulder blade onto the back. And so that it stays there, draw the right shoulder blade toward the spine. Now turn your gaze forward. Before we transition, notice the support you can have from the lower abdominal wall. Sense that the zipper from your pubic bone to your navel is like just slowly moving upward. Exhale, hinge out over the left leg, half moon. And so when you decide to play with this idea of taking the bottom hand away from the ground or away from the block, it's not the floor that's holding you so much anymore. You start to hold yourself from that place, lower abdominal wall. And if, you already play with taking a hand off the floor, try bringing both hands to touch in front of you, right? Or maybe you always do that. So today you try touch both hands behind you. Got it? Let it be playful. It's just yoga. It's not so serious. Turning over the left leg, we have warrior 3. Coming up to stand, bring your right knee with you, hands to heart or hands hips as you prefer. Straighten the leg. Try to keep some lumbar curve here. So if you found that you rounded like really a lot in the low back, lift your sternum, zipper, bend your knee, arms out like wings, and let's bring this back out to the side to warrior 3. So see, where are you holding yourself from? Inhale, come back up. Hold yourself from here. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Right. Inhale, straight leg. Arms out like wings. Where do you hold yourself from? Hold your attention at your midline as you go back to warrior 3. Left hand down, right arm up, half moon. You don't have to look at the back of your mat. There is a part of you that knows exactly where that is. So trust it. Bend your left knee, step back. Warrior 2. Nice. Inhale, peaceful, bend it back. Exhale, windmill the arms down to frame the foot, 3-legged plank. And it doesn't have to be anything more than that. That could be it. Or you could lower down and breathe into the earth or roll onto your right hand for side plank. And if you're in side plank and your left leg starts lifting off of the right, so you're curious about that, flex your ankle. Good with the bottom heel. Try swinging the left leg out towards the side of the room. So all of these little experiments in balance ask you to trust your core, to trust your center. Turn back down toward the mat, full or half chaturanga, yogi's choice. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. All right, pivot your toes out just a little bit here. So the heels come in towards the midline. And shift your weight forward and you bring your left knee to touch your left arm and then step back and then go right knee to the right arm and step back. Just trying to create a little coordination here with your breath. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you step back. Nice. All right, next time your right knee touches your right arm, bend your elbows halfway. It's chaturanga with a little bit of a crow leg. Step back. Left leg. Step back. Right leg. Bend elbows. Step back. One more time. Left arm. Step back. Hop or step to the top of the mat. Pivot your toes out. Malasana. Let your head release down. Let it be useful in that it's a weight to traction the spine and the soft tissue of the neck. Nice. And then let's sit back behind the heels and inhale, Navasana, boat pose. You can stay here. Take your hands a little wider. Wrap the shoulders onto your back. Good. Could always lower your feet or your hands or exhale, half boat. Gaze up on the ceiling, but tuck your chin in. Bevy's not taking pictures right now. So make a double chin. You're doing it right. Inhale, boat. Exhale, half boat. Inhale, boat. Exhale, half. Inhale, rise up. I don't know. Maybe this is the time you say, half boat, full boat. No, thank you, boat. It's totally up to you. 3, 2. Okay, last one. Bring your knees wide and rock over your feet. Plant your hands and knees into triceps. Maybe big toes touch. Your eyes off the floor. Maybe you skip the crow today. Keep your head up and your eyes forward. Press to the base of your index fingers. Bring your big toes towards each other and try straightening your arms a little bit more of this. That's it. Bring your feet together. Lower your feet back down. Bring the knees together. Uttanasana, forward fold. Leaning forward a little bit. Maybe lean forward and notice that your heels get a little light on the mat. Inhale, lift halfway, arms out like wings. Roll your palms forward and come all the way up. Cool. Okay. Standing on your right foot, let's lift the left knee. So here are some ideas, some ways to deal with this. You could wrap your hands around your left thigh, around your knee. You could take your left hand inside your knee and hold onto your ankle or your big toe. Okay. And then we'll see about extending the leg forward. Your knee does not have to be fully extended here. You can keep a bend in the knee. Yeah. So maybe try to take the leg out to the left. If you're using a bent knee, hand on the knee, it looks like this. And it's no more or no less than if you're holding your toe. Nice, that's nice. Lift your collarbone slit towards your chin. Step down, walk that out. Okay. Shifting onto your left foot, raise your right knee. Different leg. You know, they've traveled the same path mostly, left, right leg, but they have different stories. They always have different stories. So let go of expectation. Like kind of feel your way through it. The ankle is going to be foot or toe. It's going to be fully extended or partially, maybe out to the side. Keep your gaze at eye level. Energy follows attention. So when you look down, life force brings you downward. You look up, it's inspiring, it's uplifting. Okay, cool. Step back and walk that out. All right, so you guys all know peace fingers is yogi toe hold, right? You have blocks, put 1 or 2 at the top of your mat. It's the other thing we've been working on this past week. Put your left knee up to about hip height. Try extending the leg. I'm going to take it out to the left, and here's where you pass through warrior 3. But this time, bring your left hand down and your right leg behind you. That looks like this. Don't worry about left, right. Where maybe you can take hold of your foot. So that's right hand to your left foot. And then you play with like maybe a little bend in the standing leg. Maybe you bend the standing leg and extend the other leg. Okay? So we're all like going to figure it out on our own terms, honoring the boundaries of our own bodies. And if you lower down to that squat, you know, play a little bit with taking your left hand off your block. If you fall, the ground is so close. And then come back up to stand, feet together. Bend your knees, lay your arms down, shake out your hands, shake your head. And roll your spine all the way back up to stand. Standing on your left foot. Raise the right knee. Straighten the leg. So here we go. So you're going to take the leg all the way around. So swing it out to the right. Start rotating your kneecap and big toe down. Cross the leg behind your left. Right hand to the floor block. Left hand to the foot. Take your time. Explore it a little. That's it. Nice, Tom. Keep the low belly toned, because you're not going to keep your hand on the floor. Where are you going to hold yourself from? There's that place in the low belly. Stand up, unwrap, unwind, undo. Bend your knees, drop your head down, roll your spine all the way back up to stand, shoulders go back. Nice. Inhale, raise the arms up. Here you go, right hand around the left wrist for a quarter moon. Step a little deeper into your left foot. Feel your left toes lifting and spreading. Feeling playful, hover your right foot off the mat or let it float out to the side. Hold your attention at your midline. Even though your midline is arced, right, and your foundation has shifted, the present is right there. Your now is at the center of your being. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway on the exhale, chaturanga, plank, or go straight to down dog and skip that. Inhale, raise your left leg, bend your knee, turn your hip towards sky. And on the exhale, left knee to chin plank. Thread your left leg underneath your plank and move your foot forward. So if your left foot started out at 3 o'clock, move it towards 1. Turn the right heel down, fallen triangle. So for the sake of reinforcing that side stretch, take your right arm over your ear. Press the pinky edge of your right foot down toward the ground. And imagine the arch of your foot like a suction cup lifting upward. And then fill all of that space with energy. Exhale, turn toward the mat, step back, lower all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot forward. Inhale, warrior 2. Shoulders, hips towards the long side of the mat, and then extend forward, extended side angle. So here we are. It's like the third pose in a row where we're exploring the right sideline. Pinky edge of the right foot drops down. The arch of that foot is rising up. Feel your breath is standing with the right side of the ribcage, right side of the baseline. On an exhale, lower the hands down to create the foot. So you're turning over the left leg, warrior 3. Shift forward. All right, and then that warrior 3, if you have your hands on the floor on blocks, we're going to take the left arm forward and the right leg back. Well, the right leg is already back, right? You can play with taking your right hand off the floor, maybe bringing it to heart or to your hip. Where are you going to hold yourself from? Every exhale, you breathe out your abdominal wall tones, and it reminds you of your material certainty. And it's always subject to change. It only exists the way it is, like right now. Stand up at the top of the mat, hands together. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, prayer twist to your left. Okay, so we took all that time to open up the right sideline. Even though you're in a twist, keep the right side open. Your right sit bone pulls back. Yeah, so we're creating a lot of length from your hips, your arms like that. Let shoulder blades slide towards the spine, your chin away from your chest a little bit. You can stay here, or you can come all the way down to like a low squat in that. If you want to arm balance, hands plant to the left side of the mat, stacking your legs onto the shelf of the arms. Keep your head up, eyes forward. Spread your toes, Regina. It's good, kind of see resisting the pointed toes. That's good. All right, on an exhale, we're going to come back down. So I'll meet in low squat, knees wide, malasana. This time, stay back behind your heels and roll all the way back, arms and legs back. Cross your ankles, rock all the way forward over your feet. We'll meet in down dog. Walk your hands back to your feet, back of the mat. Inhale, sun breath all the way up. Left hand around the right wrist. Quarter move to your left. Energy follows attention, right? So if you start paying attention to the whole right sideline here, using your breath to open up, expand, maybe shift your weight into your right foot and hover the left. Maybe let that leg float out to the side. Play your balance, but remember where your center is. Sushumna is a concentrated column of energy that runs up and down your spine. And even though it's bending here, it's still where you hold yourself. Feet together, stand up, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. On the exhale, step your left foot back. And inhale, warrior two. On an exhale, extending out over the right leg. We have extended side angle. By taking your left arm over the ear, put your breath into the left side of your rib. So use your breath to stretch from the sideline. I'm going to lean back, lean forward. One more breath there. Exhale, lower your hands down and bring your foot. So you're turning up on the back toes. Warrior three. You guys would tell me if I missed something, right? Oh, no, I missed the plank. Maybe we're coming back to it after this. I had that feeling like I forgot something or what time class was supposed to start today. All right, so we're going to take the right arm forward. Right arm forward and play your balance here. Where are you going to hold yourself from? Let your left hand start to get lighter on the mat. That's good, Ken. Keep flexing your left ankle. If you sense that your left leg rolled out to the side, just rotate your kneecap down toward the mat a bit. Nice. All right, exhale. Put that all down. Step your back foot back. Yes. And your front foot to three-legged dog. Bend your knee, turn your hip towards sky. I got you now. Exhale, knee to chin plank. See, even if you guys didn't catch it, I realized what we missed. Thread your leg underneath you. And at first, your foot will point towards 9 o'clock. Slide it up 10, maybe even 11. Roll your left heel down, fallen triangle. Left arm is over the ear here. So we're reinforcing that side stretch. The more you lift your right hip away from the ground, the more you're going to feel that in the obliques on the left side. Stretch. Nice. Relax your wrist. On the exhale, turn toward the mat. Let's lower all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, child's pose. Feel your breath, expand your back body like wind in a parachute. Inhale, lift your gaze forward and lower onto your forearms and elbows. Step your feet back. Don't worry, I'm coming back for our chair pose with a twist. I know you guys really missed that. Hug the midline. So even though your arms aren't moving because you're bearing weight on them, feel the inner edges of your arms just like magnets pulling towards each other. Regina, lower your hips a little. Zoran, lower your hips a little. Lisa, lower your hips just a little bit. That's it. That's where it's in your core. Nice. Okay, plant your left hand, plant the right hand, plank pose. Press your finger pads down. Soften your knees, lift your hips, down dog. Looking at your hands, step or hop to the front of the mat. Feet together. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, prayer twist to the right this time. So it's a twist. I like to do those side stretches before we have deep twists like this because you need length on the left side, the side you're turning away from. So feel your left sit bone moving back. You can stay here. You can open your arms like wings. You can lower down to a low squat or side throw. Head up, keep your head up, head up, head up. That's it. Spread your toes if you want to straighten your legs. There's a lot of things to do. Inhale, back center, hinging over wide knees, Malasana. So let's get a little back stretch going. From Malasana, hug your knees and your inner thighs towards your rib cage. That's going to broaden the low back. Whenever your legs are adducting, coming into the midline, the back body expands. All right, and then sit back behind your heels. Feeling adventurous? Peace fingers to the big toes as you roll your spine down and straighten your legs. And when I say straighten, I just mean extend at the knee joints. I don't mean your legs have to be straight. So this is an inverted Paschimottanasana. It's seated forward fold, flipped on your back. So most of us gravitate from the thinking mind into the language. And the language was, oh, straighten your legs, hold your toes. But if your low back has lifted so far off the mat that you're like in Halasana, plow pose, that's a different posture. Try to roll your spine back down to the mat. Compromise by bending your knees or holding your shins instead of your toes. You know what I'm saying? It feels totally different. Different way to access the mountains. Go your feet, hug your knees to your chest. Let's pull off an asana. And then rock up to sit. Pass over your feet. If you want to vinyasa, you can. We're going to meet in child's pose. Lift your gaze forward and come onto the forearms and elbows. This time, curl your toes and lift your hips up. So now you have forearm dog or dolphin pose. You remember Sophie, raise your right leg. Try to remember Sophie, right? Okay, put that leg down. Bevy and Sophie are friends, so when Bevy's around, it makes me think of Sophie. Walk your feet over to the right. This is a Sophie pose. Sophie loves this posture. It's called Mandalasana, and most of us aren't going to do the whole form. Walk both feet over to the right. You're on your forearms and your elbows. Now your feet have walked off the edge of your mat, and your mind is starting to get probably a little strained, like, what is going on? Figure out which one is your left foot. And then you're going to lift the left leg up in the air. If you want, you could bend your knee and turn your hip towards sky. You have to let your head down here. Okay. So you should be looking towards the back of your mat, back of the room. Sophie were here, I'd say, Sophie, go ahead, step over the top and flip it. But most of us aren't going to go there, right? But you can enjoy that side stretch and inverted twist. Step the left foot back down, walk your feet back to the center of the mat, lower your knees. And when you go to child's pose, walk your arms over to the right and lean your hips to the left. Breathe out all the way. Breathe out so much you feel the tone in the belly, your navel draws back and in. And then when you inhale, rise all the way up on your knees, slow salute, arms to sky. Curl your toes or rest on the tips of the toes and bring your left hand to your left heel. Right arm is up, gaze to the fingertips. If your neck hurts, pull your right hand behind your head to support it. Nice. On an exhale, swim the arms back down to table pose. Coming onto your forearms and elbows. Curl your toes, lift your hips, and now it's forearm dog. You're welcome to stay right there. Right, or we can channel a little Sophie and walk your feet over to the left. Try to keep both forearms steady on the ground. So don't compromise the foundation for it, okay? Once you walk your legs over and you're like, they're not going any farther than that, you're going to lift your right leg up. Bend your knee, turn your hip towards side. So now your stretch is from the right forearm through the shoulder, ribs, the obliques, the hip. And then step your foot back down, walk it to center. And when you lower your knees and go to child's pose, walk your arms left, lean your hips right. Exhale all the way. Exhale till you feel your abdominal wall contracting. And then you have your support to inhale, rise all the way up, low salute. Rest on the tips of the toes. Right arm's going to back stroke, fingertips to your heel. And then take your gaze up to the left hand. Strasana, camel pose. And then inhale, both arms up. Exhale. One more time onto the forearms and the elbows. Curl your toes, lift your hips. Start to baby step your feet towards your elbows. So, you probably don't have your heels on the floor anymore. You're probably up on the tiptoes, or you have a little bend in the knees. And if you want to play a bit for Mayurasana, then lift your right leg up in the air. And with your left heel, when you're standing on, just go up and down, heel lift, left heel, lift, lower, left, lift, lower, right? Yeah. And see how the whole rest of the body then goes up and down. And then you can put that foot down and try the other leg. Left leg up, right heel's going up and down. That's starting a little closer. Exhale, step back down. Lower your knees. Let's take the knees wide apart here and thread your arms through your legs for child's pose, resting on the forehead or on one cheek. And then come on up to sit either on your heels, on a block, or 2 blocks, whatever you need for hero's pose. take your thumbs, and with your thumbs, like drop your chin down and feel up the back of your neck. So from your traps or the part of the shoulders where everyone like gets a lot of tension, you know, and feel your thumbs up to the base of your skull, and then lift your chin forward. So now it feels kind of like the occipital ridge, the bottom of your skull is like sitting on your thumbs. With your thumbs, press in and start to make some circles. Lift your chin a little more, Betty. You asked for neck. So here we go. Here's neck, right? Okay. And so once you kind of, you know, and it might feel weird there. There's nerve ganglia. It's like lots of nerve endings here. So if you start to feel like zingy or like feels numb or strange, that's really normal. You bring your right arm down by your side, and with your left palm touching the side of your head, don't use your arm strength. Use your head to press into your hand. And while you're just holding that little bit of pressure, notice which muscles feel, or like where you feel contraction. And then we're going to switch the hands. Left fingertips drape your shoulder, other hand over the side of the head. And we're not going to pull the head to the right. Instead, use your fingertips to kind of stretch the skin. Let your jaw be really relaxed. If your mouth hangs open a little, that's fine. So a lot of times when we have tightness, like we can have muscle tightness and muscle spasms and that kind of thing. But sometimes what we also have is fascia that's restricted, connective tissue. It's just beneath the skin and coating all of the muscles. And so this is more a way to open up the fascia than it is to stretch your neck muscles. Okay, and then come back center. Put your hands in your lap and just like really slow motion, turn your head left and right, noticing range of motion on both sides. What feels maybe pleasant or unpleasant. It's so simple. You can do that anytime. So we'll do it on the other side. Hopefully you remember. Bring your palm to the side of your head. And the key here is that we want to activate the muscles in the neck. We don't want to really use the arm too much. The hand just resists and your head is pressing into the palm of the hand. So ideally, you're starting to feel some tension, some muscle concentration in the right side of the neck and around the shoulder. And you let that build up a little bit. And then let it go. Bring your fingertips onto your shoulder. And so this is now, we're not going to pull really on the shoulder. You're just using your fingertips, other hand over your head. And the head tilts, but then your fingertips press into the skin and just kind of traction. Draw the fingertips lightly away from each other. Relax your jaw because that is totally interrelated. Scalene muscles of the neck. Yeah. And the fascia work takes a little more patience. And then relax, back center, and turn your head one side and the other. Have a little lean back. So you start to walk your hands back. Be on a block. You could lower your block. You could put your legs out in front of you if you want. You could come onto your forearms and elbows. We're only going to go all the way back, all the way supine, if that's accessible without lifting your knees too much off the mat. It's fine to stay up on your elbows or use blocks as long as you're keeping the knees down. And start to make your way back up. Untuck the right leg and then the left. Straight legs, take a little bun walk forward. So your hips end up at the middle of the mat. You're gonna roll the spine down, lift your legs up in the air. One way to support your neck here is to tuck the shoulder blades underneath you. When you're doing poses like this, or legs at the wall, or shoulder stand, make sure that you don't feel like your neck flattening into the mat. So chiropractors actually start calling it flat neck. So you want to maintain that natural curve. You want to do poses like this, but as soon as you put your legs up in the air, your neck goes flat, and you put blankets underneath your shoulders to keep the shoulders elevated. You have shoulder stand, you're welcome to go there, legs up, hands support the hips. Maybe you want something in between, which would be to tuck a block underneath your hips. Halasana as an option, straight legs, lower back behind your head. If your toes touch the mat, curl your toes to the floor and reach your heels back. Another opportunity for hamstring, calf, and our caution strap. Let's step the legs back up in the air if they're not. Try to rest your hips into your hands, like your hands become a pedestal. So you're really bearing the weight, again, not on your neck, but from your shoulders to your elbows. And then whichever leg goes first, don't overthink it. You're gonna take one foot, one leg, knee bent back down toward the mat, like you're stepping back down, keeping your hips on your hands, and the other leg will follow, and you end up in a bridge. From here, you can lower all the way to the mat for a fish or plant your hands for wheel pose, pressing up, wheel as the counter pose to the shoulder stand. And then lower back down. Your knees bent, feet planted. Take your left foot and thread it under your right knee. Now you can take your left hand to hold on to the right foot. Probably going to need to lift your hips and shift them to your left for a spinal twist over to your right. This is pulling the cat's tail. So if you want to bring your right hand to your left foot, these fingers on the big toe, the toe hold, that's an option.
You turn your shoulders up.
Try to keep your shoulders facing upward. All right, then let that go. Untangle your legs, coming back to center, knees bent, feet planted. Take a breath in and a sigh out, like kind of reset a little. Then take your left foot and thread it underneath your right leg. Now your right hand takes hold of that foot. So here you get a thigh stretch. And you can move your hips a little, like lift your butt up off the mat and move them to the right a little. Now pulling the cat's tail. So you're twisting to your left. Let both arms, both legs up in the air. And shake. Shake, 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 shake. Yeah, keep shaking. Shake till you start to feel the wiggle and the jiggle, and a lot of vibration going in the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. So this isn't necessarily kind of shaking like shake socks off your feet. It's like, think about if you were in water, kind of agitate the water, stir it up a little. And then let your arms and legs be still and feel all that vibration. With your hands and your feet, locate the ground. So that's different than put your arms and legs down. You bring the palms of your hands toward the floor, the feet toward the floor, but use your hands and your feet to feel where you are in space, to locate the ground. And when you make that connection, let go of all effort. So your legs extend, your palms turn up for Shavasana. Allow yourself to float, to bask, to linger in that place of timeless time. Where, nature keeps no mechanical clock or paper calendar. Where the alerts and the reminders come from the birds, or the amount of light in the sky or humidity in the air. Put down your humanness and be your nature. Take a breath in and a sigh out. Run your tongue across your lips and then rub your lips together. Okay, feel the waters of the body originating in the mouth. Your hands and your feet, your arms and your legs move however it's natural for you. You make your way back up to a seat. You bring your hands together at heart, let your chin soften down toward your chest, a way of honoring your heart. Join me in the sound of Om, taking a breath in. Namaste. Namaste.